Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's fired up? You guys excited for the first mental and spiritual development call? So we will turn this down. Yo, who likes this music? You guys like it? You guys don't know what it is? It is. All right, sweet. That's enough. I can sit there and listen to music all the time. But let's do this. So, welcome to the mental and spiritual development call. And so, the reason why I like doing this is because it also stimulates my mind in the same way that I'm holding every person accountable for growth. Understand that you guys are also holding me accountable for growth too as well, because I'm able to study and to study with the intent not only to apply it to my life but also to share it. And I want that to also be a tip for you guys today, is that when you do this and you're actually in this business for other people, right? When you're actually living life for other people, for everyone that's God-driven, that's living your life for the sake of benefiting other people, so that way you could be a blessing and have God work through you to work through other people, then everything starts to change, because now you start to learn things unselfishly, like selfishly to be unselfish, if that makes sense. Because I wouldn't have been reading these books, I wouldn't be listening to these audios, you know, with much more detail if it wasn't for the sake of me knowing the fact that I was going to be able to share this with you guys. Does that make sense? Everybody follow me so far? You know, I want everyone to understand what's in my mind and the way that my mind works, to show you guys that I'm not anybody special, but to show you guys that I'm just a student. That's all it is. Okay, you could go through all my Facebook and look at old videos of how I used to speak. You could look at old videos, but here's the thing that I was consistent at. The one thing that I was consistent at was growing and to understanding and to learning and to becoming better, because you don't know what type of information that could change your entire lives. Who here has heard something from personal or spiritual development that changed the course of their entire lives? Anybody? Okay, cool. I started to really figure out what was the reason of why we act certain ways. You know, what is the reason why we tend to give up? What is the reason why, like, here's the thing that I've noticed. A lot of people will come into this business venture hyped and excited and motivated. You'll be excited for trading, or you'll be excited for building. But the moment that you don't get the results that you want, you tend to backfire and go to the other. Does that make sense? Who's done that? You said, I'm going to come into this and I'm going to do both. I'm going to trade and I'm going to build. And just because the building part didn't go the way that you want it to go to, you said, I'm just going to focus on trading. But then also too as well, if the trading doesn't go as good as you want it to, he's like, well, I'm just going to focus on building. Do you see how we tend to fall back on things just because we don't get the gratification from the beginning? But what I'm going to do in these mental and spiritual development calls is break down information that I'm learning, but also give you guys testimonials about deserts that I've crossed. So there's more weight in my words. I feel that the more that you start to understand the process is the more that you start to understand the principles behind everything, if that makes sense. Because it's all action. If you put everything into a nutshell, it's all action. The reason why I'm good at trading is because I probably spent more time in the charts. It's because I've studied a lot. It's because I've learned about biohacking and listening to the right music to make our brains think better by listening to classical music when you trade. You know what I'm saying? I study these things. While other people will not have the results, we need to shift the mindset. Because if you say, this is the way that it is, we just need to find the information to create the solution. Who here has ever been in a negative mind state? Who here has ever been depressed or sad? You know, or got to a point where we have anxiety and all these things? Can I give you guys a quick tip to fix that? The quick tip to fix that is to research on YouTube how to fix whatever problem that it is. To go on Google and to research books pertaining to that problem. That's all it is. That's the part that trips me out the most. Is the fact that when I used to complain, I used to thought that everything in life was just broken. Everything in my life was just trash. Everything in my, like I was thinking that. But what's crazy is that all it took was for me to open up a book and to read and to change my entire mindset. Okay? That's what I want to teach you guys today. Trading wise, I just studied and did the work. On the building wise, they said do events, I'm doing events. They said to do calls, I'm doing calls. They said to talk to people, I talk to people, right? That's all it is. It's actually not that hard, but we tend to live a harder life because of the insecurities. It's crazy how one thing can stop us from achieving so much. It's crazy how everybody will be motivated in this call, but then not be motivated after this call. You have to find ways to prime yourself. I'm here to tell you guys I'm a human being and I'm emotional and I get that way too. But we have to learn how to prime ourselves to get ourselves to do different things. If you're negative or if you're idle is when everything starts to change because you start to think about everything. You have too much time to think. If you wake up and the first thing you do is you go onto your Instagram, you already put yourself into a state of comparison to other people. Who's done that? You wake up and you go into a state of comparison from looking on Instagram and looking at social media and saying, wow, their life is great. Wow, their life is good. Wow, their life is, you know what? What's crazy? We're all eating food. As long as we have a place to stay and we're eating food and we have people that we love in our lives, you have the ability to be able to afford gas. You have a smartphone. You're able to watch things. You're able to go to the movies, right? You're able to go out to eat here and there. Then you have a blessed life. The only difference between people that have a lot more money is the fact that they could do it in different places. But at the end of the day, they're still doing the same thing. I've traveled to so many locations, but it's crazy that you still, no matter where you travel to, you still want to be with the people that you love. No matter where you travel to, you still wish that the people that you love are there to your left and to your right. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down some key notes that I've learned from this book, and I'm going to break down on examples in my life. And this could be discussion. If you have any questions, we could write it down here too as well. It's not going to be that long, but this is just quick because we don't really have those mastermind alliances. How many of us really sit down and talk about these type of information? We talk about making money, talk about making money, and we talk about let's make more money, but we don't ever talk about like real things about our human psyche. And instead of being psychonauts, being soul surfers and really understanding who we are as individuals, because that's the key. That's what a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to success. Okay? And I'm reading this book called A Better Way to Think. And I wrote these notes down. And this is just from the first chapter. So our thoughts are usually more our adversary than our ally. Okay? Who believes that? Our thoughts are more our adversary than our ally. Our thoughts turn into feelings, turns into words, which turns into our life. Okay? So our self-talk is attacking us from within. What's crazy is that we are our own worst critics. We are our own worst enemy. That sometimes we get more support from other people than we get more support from ourselves. I had to figure that out the hard way. And then I've had to motivate myself. I said, you know what? I am a good speaker. You know what? I deserve to be on that stage. You know what? I am going to impact people's lives. You know, I changed the perspective of everything. Okay, chapter 1, my mind is filled with thoughts. When problem erupts, we have to learn how to switch to a solution-finding mode. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. When you guys are in traffic, do you get mad? When things don't happen your way, do you get mad? If someone doesn't appreciate you the way that you appreciate them, Do you get mad? If someone falls below your expectations, does it make you mad? Right? If everything does, like, that's what we have to realize. The world doesn't revolve around us. But if we switch when our problems erupt within our lives, we actually switch to solution finding mode. For example, what they're talking about in this book is how there's a person that could be stuck in traffic, and then there's there's two different types of people. One person is mad the whole time that they're in traffic, while the other person says, you know what? This is the perfect time for my prayer time. This is the perfect time for me to be spiritually filled. This is the perfect time for me to release and surrender all the negative entities unto God and Jesus Christ, whoever you believe in. Okay, this is the perfect time for spiritual development. This is the perfect time for personal development. But how many of us, be honest, and I've been there before, have used that time to complain? Okay? We all have, right? We've used that time to complain about everything. So I got to a point in my life now where I said, I'm just going to stay quiet. If things don't happen my way, or if I see someone do something crazy, it has no effect on me. It's in God's hands, not mine, right? If I'm over here and I'm sitting here and things don't happen my way and people treat me a different way, then whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to eat tonight. I'm still going to the gym. I'm still going to watch that movie. I'm still going to build this business. I'm still going to mark up charts. I'm still going to read these books. I'm still going to focus on my health. I'm still going to drink water, right? I'm still going to be grateful for the people I love. Like, we make things mean something that doesn't have to mean something. So we have to learn how to have our problems, when problems erupt, to switch to solution finding mode. And this is good because it goes into business. It goes into everything else in life. Okay? Oh, the event isn't the way that I want it to be. Good, because now you know what not to be for the next event. What happens is events don't happen. Like, for real, I've witnessed this, is people will do events, it doesn't happen the way they want it to, and they quit altogether. Whereas the people that are solution finding will sit there and they'll analyze the whole situation. Okay, we should have not been playing rap music. We should have been playing high frequency music. Okay, I should have dressed up. I should have been there early so that way I could have shook every single person's hand. And I should have done a fast start training after. Okay, now I know what not to be, and I know what to be for the next event. Perfect. Thoughts, optimistic, pessimistic, everything in between, affect everything about us, from our emotions to our health. How many people have you met that are physically in shape but are internally in turmoil, but they're the most negative people you ever met in your entire life? Yo, I'm so glad that we're doing this call, because calls like this don't happen in this business. Who agrees that calls like this don't happen in this business? Okay? So I actually put this in my status. I don't know if you guys saw it on Instagram, but I'm going to say it here, and I'm also going to reiterate. This is how I came up with my status. Hence the reason why I said, like, it's very key on the fact that we actually, look, this picture. You guys like this picture I put up? Oh, you guys like that picture? Okay, that picture. I said, we have over 45,000 thoughts a day. When we think, we create electrochemical reactions within our bodies, whether we realize it or not. Thoughts turn into electrochemical reactions, which turns into feelings, which turns into attitudes, which turns into behavior. Our feelings cannot invoke a thought, but our thoughts can invoke feelings. So this means that we are in control. We dictate everything by the thoughts we choose to think. You feel happy or positive, you feel negative and sad. Our positive thoughts release chemicals that create happiness, while our toxic thoughts will produce chemicals that are downers. So what I'm trying to say is this: you are what you think. You are in control. You have it in your mind. You can hold it in your hand. Literally, food for thought. We can't blame anyone else except ourselves. Time to be aware of what we think. So here's the thing. We produce 45,000 thoughts a day. Okay? Now, the rate at which we express is slower. We speak at about 200 words per minute, but we can listen and process 1,300 words per minute. So if we could listen and process 1,300 words per minute, but we can only speak at about 200 words, it's because the rate at which we express is slower. Thoughts, which are ways in which we are, thoughts, the definition of it is pretty much ways in which we are conscious of things. It's our memories, it's our perceptions, it's our beliefs, are glimpses and ideas, okay? Thoughts determine the orientation of everything that we do. They evoke the feelings that frame our world and motivate our actions. I'm gonna say that again. They evoke the feelings, right, that frame our world and motivate our actions. They have the power to change the way we feel, okay? Here's the thing. Thoughts turn into an electrochemical response, which turns into an emotion, which turns into an attitude, which then in turn returns into behavior. Now, the way I like to break this down is who has been in a relationship? Who here has been in a relationship? Excuse me. Okay, so how many of us have projected our insecurities, okay? And then we thought these thoughts of that we're not good enough, which then turns into electrochemical response of emotion of sadness and lack of self-worth and lack of self-love, which turns into our attitude of feeling unloved, which turns into a behavior of resentment for the other person and projection to the other person, even though it's because of our own thoughts, which in return created toxic behavior. Have you been through that? Come on, we're all young before. We all went through that. 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 And for anyone that says, like, we need to start being transparent with ourselves and saying, hey, I'm weak and I'm vulnerable and I'm transparent, but I'm aware of it and I'm working on it. And that's how I become better. Make sense? So negative and toxic attitudes turn into toxic behaviors. Who here is getting value from this? Because sometimes the self-awareness of this information that sees things differently and sees it like, wow, this is crazy. Because I bet you guys didn't expect that I was going to sit here and dissect this information and break this down in detail to the point where I could convey and portray this message. So each one of you guys, by the end of this call, that you guys are sitting here being very wary of the thoughts that you think. And if you have nothing nice to say, whether it's about someone or if it's about yourself, you don't say it. Okay? So, like I said, we can usher good or bad things into our lives, real or imagined, depending on the content of our thoughts. You know, I used to read books. I used to read it super fast. I think it's because of Ty Lopez is like, read more books. You know, here in my garage. You know, like, I was like, you gotta read, so you gotta speed read, we gotta speed read. But sometimes you miss on the breakthroughs and you trip over the breakthroughs because of the speed of it, because of the intent. If the intent is to read something or to not to understand, but to read it for the sake of having it on your shelf to say that you read it. But if the intent is to understand it, then you read slower. And the things that say like we can usher good or bad things into our lives, real or imagined, depending on the content of our thoughts. So we create the good and bad things in our lives. That's crazy. Okay? Are thoughts harmless or are thoughts harmful? It depends. Each time you have a thought, it triggers an electrochemical reaction in your body, whether you're aware of it or not. So I want you to think of this now. When you think of thoughts of negativity, I want you to like be aware of an electrochemical reaction happening within your body. So when you're complaining or being negative, I want you to think of that electrochemical reaction coming into existence. So now it becomes more fun to manifest. It becomes more fun to visualize. It becomes more fun to dream. It becomes more fun to imagine because now you can put scientific results, right, with the things that we thought that were theories before. Does that make sense? Okay. Each thought sets off a biological process. 400 billion at once. Electrochemical. Okay. Okay. 400 billion at once. Yo, what? 400 billion at once? Each thought sets off a biological process. 400 billion at once, not 400 million, not 400,000, 400 billion. When I read that, I was like, oh, I'm so scared now to like think negative. I'm just like, no, positive. Oh, I'm happy day, happy life. Hey, I waited here. Here's the thing, guys. Here's my day. I went to go take my girlfriend's car to get her tires done. Okay? To get her tires done. Get her 2 front tires done and then to get it aligned. And the guy told me, he's like, I asked him, I said, hey man, like how long is this going to take? He said, it's going to take an hour. I said, all right, bet, cool. What I did was I already brought my phone and my laptop, and guess what I did the whole time? That I utilized that time to actually create these notes for you guys to be prepared for the call. Guess how long it took? It took 2.5 hours. Now, here's the thing. Did I complain once? No. I put things into perspective that those 2.5 hours could be used to create these notes. And if I didn't use that 2.5 hours, I wouldn't be giving you guys this information right now. Isn't that crazy? In the meantime, though, I watched and I observed. I observed people, okay, that this lady was on the phone, angry. She's like, they're taking forever. She's the person that was looking at the window, and she's like, they're taking forever. I can't believe they're taking forever. Blah, 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 blah. I said, it's so crazy how we tend to like be angry at the situation when you're the one that got there at that time. When if you knew that you had something to do, that you would have been prepared and got there early. But just because that we know we didn't do it right, we tend to complain at the people that's actually doing the service. Which in return, would you rather have them rush, or would you rather have your tires on right and aligned the right way? Does that make sense? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So, feeling good? Oh, here you go. Thought. The chemicals surge the body. It produces electromagnetic waves. It sets off emotion and affects how we behave. Okay. I thought about this. I thought about this when it came to business. When things don't happen the way that I want it to go, I think negatively, and chemicals go through my body, which produces waves, which sets off an emotion, and it affects how I react to other people, and which in return doesn't create any productiveness or any type of manifestation whatsoever, except that of a negative one. I thought about this too when it comes to my relationship. And the reason why I break the relationship aspect down is because you guys can relate to that more, because we tend to be humans of love and affection. And it's crazy how just because I feel some type of way could affect how I behave. But if I change the way that I think, and I think about how grateful I am to be that person, or to be in this business, or to speak at the event, or to be able to talk and save people's lives, and to be able to trade and to tap into the biggest financial market in the world, and to be able to read books and to grow when most people don't even read books in the first place, to have the opportunity to even grow as an individual, it changes my entire mood. It changes my entire, when you stay in a state of gratitude, the place of fear, right? The place of lack cannot fit in the same spot. Bad feelings, okay, feeling good, positive, and happy, it's because chemical reactions set off in your brain as a result of your thoughts. Bad feelings and attitudes come from this process as well. Some of the chemicals, which are positive, are feel-good chemicals. So when you're happy and grateful and positive, feel-good chemicals. When you feel negative and down, it releases chemicals within your body that are downers. So who here is tripping out right now? But there are scientific explanations for the reasons of why we feel the way that we feel. And there's scientific proof on the fact that we're in control of it. Who's tripping out? Because I was tripping out. It's like we tend to live life on autopilot to the point where we're just like, go with the flow. But it's crazy how we have like this gift of frequencies and electromagnetic waves and electrochemical responses within our bodies. And that we have the choice, and that if you like video games, if you like excitement, then we're in the best one out of them all, because you are in control of your entire environment just from the way that you think. And it's so easy to be in a state of gratitude. Okay? Yes. content of your thoughts matters a lot. It can limit who we are and what we become. Or they can act as a catalyst prompting us forward in our lives. Okay? I need light. Oh, man. I'm going to say this again. The content of your thoughts matter a lot. It can limit who we are and what we become. I'm gonna start right there. Okay? What? The content of your thoughts can limit who we are and what we become. So if we put a limit in our mind to our growth, or if you put a limit on our business, if you put a limit on our trading rather than speaking the greatness into existence, and whether it's speaking and of manifestation of the supernatural, that is the cap that we put on. So we are in control of the cap of our lives, okay? Or they can act as a catalyst, prompting us forward in our lives. Break down that shit. Thanks, man. So they can act as a catalyst, prompting us forward in our lives. That's freaking wild to me. That tripped me out. Guys, this is chapter 1. Who likes that I'm dissecting these? Who feels that this is actually helping you guys? Okay? Who feels that your mind right now is a little twisted now? Like, what? Freaking out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Who now, when you watch people complain and are super negative, you're going to be watching them like, oh, man. Oh, dude. That's not good. There's 400 billion, right? 400 billion biological processes that get set off from a thought. Wow. I want you to right now think about everything that you're grateful for. Truly think about everything you're grateful for. Deep down, from the clothes that you're wearing to the cell phone that you have. If you're working a job, but it's paying the bills, be grateful for that job. I want you to be grateful in the fact that you're on this call. I want you to be grateful in the fact that you're breathing and that you're alive. I want you to be grateful for the fact that it's almost the holidays. You get to spend time with family and the people that you love, right? I want you to be grateful for the fact that like you're a part of this culture, that you're able to impact people's lives and change their lives in a positive manner. That when you invite people to this stuff, say, hey, it's not just trading. It's not just business. It's an actual community. It's a family. We actually bring each other up. We actually have conversations of bringing each other up and helping shift people's paradigms. I want you to think about how grateful you are to have water, right? How grateful you are on the fact that you're not sick. I want you to be grateful in the fact that if you have your parents or grandparents or brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to be like just doing that right now, just thinking that, does that make you happy? Are you appreciative of the people to your left and to your right? If you have a car to travel with, like it changes your entire frequency and vibrations. And when you stay in a state of gratitude, you actually manifest more things to be grateful for. So try it. Try it. Okay? Thoughts influence our character. It shapes our attitudes. It affects our spirituality. And can even influence our own immune system. Okay? Let me say that again. Thoughts influence our character. It shapes our attitude. Affects our spirituality. And even influence our immune system. Yo, I could go on for days about this stuff. I'm going to break down 5 minutes of me giving a testimonial about my entire life with all this type of stuff. And I brought this up when I was in Chile and Ecuador. There's a time in my life where I was really broke. There's a time in my life that if I could go back into it, to be honest, it would make me want to cry and break down. There's a time in my life where I was spending $500 a month to live in a place in Coppers Cove, Texas. I actually hid this from people while I was in network marketing because I was so scared of what people were going to say and what people were going to judge. I just sit there. It's $500 a month for like this like 2-bedroom place, and it was just bad. Like, gunshots all the time, cockroaches everywhere, and my checks were being garnished from the military. I was super broke. One of my friends called me before I hit Chairman 25. He's like, bro, I remember the Chris before all this. You're still the same, and that you're rich before you're rich. He's like, I remember the Chris that, dude, like that was sleeping on the floor. I remember that I gave you your air mattress, not air mattress, actually a regular mattress, but it felt like an air mattress. But he's like, but I remember when you wanted to cry. He's like, I remember when you were eating top ramen and cracking eggs and, you know, putting spices in it, peanut butter and jelly sandwich for days, you know, like learning how to meal prep, how to finesse Chipotle, you know, doing all these things. He's like, dude, I remember you didn't have that much money. And then if you did have a little money, even just to watch one movie, it was like an adventure. It was like you were ecstatic. It's like you were excited just to be there. See, I remember that when you would have even just a little bit of money to go eat and to take someone out with you, you wouldn't eat unless you could take someone out with you and have the conversations and to be there and talk about how good the food was. Because all this time that you're broke, you're rich. And look at what happened with the life and how it transformed everything. So what I'm saying is you guys might see the stuff that I have now. You guys might see the travels and all these things. But these are things that I used to think about all the time when I was broke. These are things I used to think about all the time when I was struggling and I was in these situations. But the thing is, you would have never have known that I was struggling because I understood the law of vibrations and that whatever I say becomes real, whatever I feel becomes real. So I spent more time with my imagination and feeling what it felt like to travel to different countries. I spent more time in my imagination, being in the house of my dreams and being there with my freaking kids and being there with the woman of my dreams. Like, I would spend this time thinking and manifesting and dreaming of speaking in front of thousands of people, of making a yearly as a monthly, of being a 6-figure earner, no matter what it was, when I was broke. But I'm here to tell you guys today that on top of the stuff that you learn, on top of the stuff of you being aware about all these things, of all these frequencies and vibrations, the electrochemical responses, the thought process and everything, it doesn't mean anything if you don't have any action that goes along with it. We could sit and we can't think our way to success. Yes, we can in a sense, but there's another part that needs to happen. You guys, for a lot of people, you guys are the most personally and spiritually developed people that I know. That what happens is you're priming your environment for growth. But if there's no action, nothing can happen. Here's what I'm going to say. It's like this. Just like in business, have you ever felt that you're working so hard and a person's barely even trying? And you're working so hard and you're stuck. This person's barely trying and they're over here accomplishing all these things. It's probably because they're not complaining. It's because they're grateful. It's because they're manifesting and they feel that it's already theirs. That's just the way that it is. So if you could change your vibrational state and change your thought process into the gratitude aspect of everything, but on top of that, that one call that you do or the people that you invite, it's like you're priming yourself, say, okay, I'm a Chairman 500, I'm a 7-figure trader, I'm a Chairman 500. It's like you're priming yourself so that way the people that you do invite to that event happens to be the people that need the breakthrough, because the way that your frequencies and vibrations are, you met the person that you're supposed to meet in order for that to become a reality, right? You're not going to be able to manifest and things to happen without action. So if you're over here telling yourself that you're a 7 or 8-figure trader, but you're spending no time on the charts, you're spending no time drawing, you haven't even taken your first trade yet, how can you expect to use those frequencies, right? To use those frequencies in order for you to grow. We could sit and we could think, and we could put ourselves in this mind state, in these frequencies, and like freaking Super Saiyan mode, but if we don't freaking use it, then it doesn't mean anything. So that's the reason why I'm saying that this call is pretty much finished. And I want you to promote this to whoever you feel that needs this. Oh, thank you. As a preacher, that's crazy. But apply it. Use this. Change your state of gratitude. Change your thought process. Change everything. But apply it. Don't worry. If you're too late, it's okay because it's recorded. Okay? Who here, I'm going to say this. Who here feels that this was what you needed? Who here feels here. Who here feels that for the first personal and spiritual development call, this information honestly changed your life? Feels that for the first person. Wow. Awesome. Well, you guys make me super happy and super ecstatic. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. And hopefully this is a good motivation, spiritual and development call, and that it was like worth your time so that we could promote this and to promote to other people that need this. I don't care if you didn't go all in trading. I don't care if you're going all in network marketing, but at least the fact that your mindset is different. Okay? So I appreciate every single one of you guys. This is recorded, and I will make sure that I push it out to all the chats. Okay? You guys have a wonderful, 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 wonderful night. Peace.